And good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the post-game show. My name is Ralph Williams, along with my co-host Steve Spates and SMOKIN Jim Frazier by phone. SMOKIN Jim, welcome to the program. Steve, welcome to the program.
Great to be here.
Thanks, Ralph.
All right, guys. Excuse me. I have one thing to say to SMOKIN Jim Frazier today. The greatest linebacker of all time for the Steelers did absolutely nothing today. Nothing. So I don't want to hear he's the greatest linebacker of all time in a key game that we could have probably won if he would have done a little bit more. So, but anyway, lots of mistakes in this game, bad officiating. That call against Minka was wrong. That was a bad call all across the board. Twice, not twice, 3 times I've seen Justin Fields slide and get slingshotted. And then the one time they grabbed a face mask and there was still no call. That end zone play where you try to throw it to Pickens and they grabbed his face mask. Nothing. This is unbelievable. I mean, this was the game, just a bad game here. The Steelers made too many mistakes. And Zach Frazier snapping the ball right into Justin Fields' helmet. Somebody messed that up. And it was just an overall bad game. When they needed to make a play, they couldn't. And then all of a sudden, here we are losing by 3 to the Colts. That game that we probably could have won if we did a few things better. I didn't like some of Tomlin's comments in his post-game press conference when he said, well, Flacco's a different animal here. And if we try to sack him, he'll get out of the sack, which he did a couple of times. But Chris Hoke made a very good point on KDKA when he said if it was Dick LeBeau, they would have sacked Flacco the whole game. All right, guys, your thoughts. Let's go with SMOKIN Jim Frazier. Your thoughts on this game?
Well, you can't win them all. And this was an important game to win. Steelers just wasn't ready to play in the first half. They got behind too much, but I give them credit. They didn't quit.
No, they did not. And you know what? All these Chicago Bears naysayers who have been picking on the Steelers about Justin Fields, look, put it in the rearview mirror because you got Caleb Williams, that bum. All right. So, but I mean, they won today, but you got Caleb Williams. I'll take Justin Fields any day of the week with this Steeler team and the quarterbacks coaches and Arthur Smith. I'll take Justin Fields any day of the week. Steve, your thoughts on this game?
Well, both these teams will not be playing in January or February. I said that the Steelers could be a better team this year and not make the playoffs. Now they're 3-1, so they're not in any danger. But this game, the stars really did not come through when they needed them. Ralph, you said it.
Yes.
Pickens fumbles in the red zone. He drops a touchdown pass later on in the game. Now, fortunately, Freiermuth made up for it. He gets the touchdown. Hayward blows the sack against Flacco. But, Ralph, here's a question for both of you. That first sack of the game, let's go to that first Indianapolis sack. Flags thrown. It was called roughing the quarterback. It wasn't. That was a bad call. Do you think that the Steelers, like Hayward, are thinking about that call when he's trying to hold out Flacco? Not taking anything away from Flacco. He's a gritty veteran. He's an underrated quarterback. The officiating was bad all over the place. This team did not execute it when they needed to. But that sack, boy, if you got that sack, Ralph, I think Pittsburgh can win this game. But is Hayward thinking, well, I get flagged if I throw him down to the ground? Not making excuses, but it's got to be in the back of these guys' heads when they see that call made.
That could be, Steve. You're right. I agree with you on that one. I didn't see the first part of the game because we had a long-winded preacher today filling in for our pastor at church, and he preached for over an hour, and I didn't get out of church until after 12, and then with traffic, I don't know where the traffic came from today. Trying to get home was a bear. By the time I got in the house, I missed 15 minutes of the first 15 minutes of the game, so I didn't see what happened at the beginning. So, and that's my fault. But anyway, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, Smoking Jim, what's your take on this game? What do you think the Steelers could have done better in this game to win this game?
Well, I said in the pregame show with Luther and Claudio, I said that Indianapolis, in my opinion, had one of the better offenses in the National Football League, and everybody laughed at me. I guess I was
did this
proven
morning
right.
because I watched it.
Yeah,
I did this
yeah,
morning. I said, "What are you thinking?" You know?
yeah. You know, Pittman and those guys, Mitchell and Taylor, and I tell you what, that quarterback's going to be really good if he continues to develop, because his arm is just big time. But I thought the Steelers read their headlines too much all week. Each game is very important, especially when you got the Dallas Cowboys coming in here next week with and they've been well rested. They haven't played since Thursday. That's going to be a very, very tough game to win. Pittsburgh Steelers could find themselves 3-2 because they laid an egg against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see what the Steelers do against Mike Zimmer. He's the new defensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 742-010-500. Call Mata today, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. And also do not forget our friends Bon Journey will be in concert on October 12th, 2590 Broadhead Road, Aliquippa, at the Kendrew's Lounge. With Kevin Belonzi opening up and the Dying Breeds also opening up. Two opening acts, and then Bon Journey takes the stage at 8 p.m. The cost is $10 pre-sale, $15 at the door. My advice to you is get the pre-sale tickets. Not only do you save $5, but you can also get there early and get a table. I've never been to this place, but I can guarantee you, and I'm going to say this, because I've been to some of these places for shows, it's a standing room only kind of thing. So my advice to you is to get there, get a table or sit at the bar, get there early, get your ticket, get in there and enjoy the show. Because I'm telling you, if you're somebody like me that's handicapped in a wheelchair, looking over people's heads behind them is not a very good thing at all to see the band. All right. Fortunately, when I went to Jurgles, I went to see Charlie Daniels and I was able to get a table. And then that way I didn't have to look over people's heads, because it was standing room only there for that show. And, the late Charlie Daniels, may he rest in peace. He was one of my favorite singers, a great American guy who sang some great American songs. But anyway, all right. This next part of the post-game show, this next segment is brought to you in part by Alex's Flowers. Call Alex today, 412-661-6071. For weddings, funerals, parties, just for your sweetheart, anything you need flowers for an office birthday party or something, whatever you need them for, call Alex today. 30 years in the flower business and a Pitt grad from the University of Pittsburgh, 412-661-6071 or alexsflowers.com. All right. Okay, we'll start with you, Steve. Injuries in the running game.
Wow.
Where go here? I don't know why they didn't bring Ward up. That he's an experienced running back. They brought this kid up. I never even heard of him. I think he was bagging groceries a couple of weeks ago, and they put him on the practice squad. I never even heard of this guy, Clemature or Clemacor or whatever the heck his name was. He played backup because Patterson got hurt, but he was doing real good running the football. And then he got hurt, and James Daniels has an ankle injury, so both of them are questionable for the next game. We're going to find out what happens here. Your thoughts on these injuries, Steve?
Well, you're seeing it around the league, Ralph. Jim, I mean, the numbers, I was listening to a national show this week, and we're as high as we've ever been with injuries. You're seeing guys go down and down and down, and the veterans who've played this game have stated, if you don't work and you don't get out there in the off season and in your spring camps work, you're not going to shift into 100 miles an hour game one. This is now the fourth game of the season. We're seeing injuries that, yeah, it's a collision game. People get hurt. But the amount of injuries that are happening it seems like every week now across the league, somebody is going down. It's not just a couple of injuries. It seems like it's almost with every team now. You're seeing, look at Indianapolis. They lost their center for the game. They're all pro center. The injuries, I think there's something has to be addressed here.
And a rookie came in and played well.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job. Hey, give them credit. I mean, they're not a bad football team, but guys, I mean, this is the injuries. My God, it's going to continue.
Made a couple boneheaded coaching moves, and the Steelers didn't take advantage of them.
Yeah,
I mean, and I thought he made a couple bad calls, and the field goal kicker missing that 47-yarder was a blessing. Today,
boy,
the Steelers weren't good, and they didn't get lucky. Because I've been saying it's better to be lucky than good because they're not good, but they didn't get lucky today either. So the leprechaun went bye-byes today. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on the injury front today, and any other thoughts you have for the game today?
Well, real quickly, I think we found a tight end today. I think Mount Washington showed that him and Freiermuth could be a 1-2 punch at tight end.
Yes.
They just need somebody to get them the football consistently. I've been saying all along, and I don't know if Steve will agree with me with this, that I believe that in the offseason they ought to extend long term Dan Moore. Dan Moore's healthy. He's started every game he's played since his rookie year. He's been getting better and better every year. He's very seasoned this season. Listen, with the amount of injuries on the offensive line, Daniels is gone after this season. You got a makeshift offensive line. I think that you need some veteran presence, and I would sign Dan Moore. I would keep Broderick Jones at right tackle, and the rookie Samoan, I would put him at guard next year because he's out for the season this year. I don't think you can go in the next season with too many inexperienced offensive linemen trying to lead the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that. Steve, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know if Broderick Jones can play that position. I think some guys, it's not because they don't care. I think he does care. I'm a fan of Broderick Jones. Dan Moore's played well. Listen, you can't rip on the guy, and he does work hard. I mean, that's what we like in our guys. There's going to have to be a decision made. If Broderick Jones cannot work out of position, you got to put him back in his proper position where I think he can dominate. It's a good dilemma to have, but if you draft a guy for a position, you play him in that position. Dan Moore, it's going to be interesting. What do you do? We'll have to see how this season plays out. If he gets injured, hopefully he's not, Broderick Jones may get back to his regular position. But Jones, it's obvious, he ain't comfortable playing that right side. And I don't know what's going to happen, but, man, they got kind of a dilemma there. If he can't cut it on that right side, they got a problem.
Oh, absolutely, they do. They have a big problem. And I agree with the fact that, Dan Moore, and I was not a Dan Moore fan. I still am not a Dan Moore fan. But you know what? He proved something to me these last 4 games that he hasn't let any sacks go through. Mason McCormick had a couple penalties, and today was just a tough game. It was a bad game. And but Justin Fields, and I think you'll agree with me, Justin Fields did a really good job today with what he had or what he could do based on what was going on in this game today. And it didn't help. It didn't help him being down 17 points either. So I mean, and the defense in my eyes slept the whole first half. They did absolutely zero. And the greatest linebacker of Steelers history did nothing today. I think he only had maybe 1 or 2 tackles and no sacks. He didn't do anything today. And but anyway, that's my opinion on that. And I feel if he would have done a little bit more, I think we could have been in a better position to win this game today. But mistakes don't cut it. Bad officiating don't help, and whatnot. And the Colts made better plays. I mean, I got to give. I don't give other teams too much credit, but Shane Steichen deserves some credit here. He's Now Mike Tomlin is 0-3 against Shane Steichen. When he was offensive coordinator with Philly, he lost. When he was last year, he lost at Indy again and again this time. He's 0-3 against Shane Steichen. Something about Shane Steichen that gets to Mike Tomlin. And I don't know, maybe it was, I didn't know Gus Bradley was their defensive coordinator. And that's my fault because that defense came to play today considering they were last in the league in rushing defense. All right, guys, final thoughts before we go into the NFL scores here and other NFL games going on. We'll start with you, Smokin' Jim.
Again, you can't win them all, but you want to win the games that you have circled before the season started. And this was one of those games. And I think it's going to come back to haunt them somewhere down the season. And maybe as early as next week, they may lose to the Dallas Cowboys and drop to 3-2. And then it's desperation time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Steve.
Well, if you look around the league, too, look what happened to Philadelphia this week. Look at what Jacksonville rebounding. I think this is the new normal. I think you have in the AFC, you have Buffalo, Kansas City. I think there's a big gap from there on out. And and neither team today would have a chance against them in the playoff, Buffalo and Kansas City. But you look around the league, you know what? The quality of the game isn't as good as it used to be. It was tough to watch the game today. It was entertaining. This is the new normal. You're going to see ups and downs, and it's going to continue. So we shouldn't be surprised. This isn't the football I grew up with, but this is the way the game is today. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, Commanders, we're up 14-7 on the Cardinals, and this segment here is brought to you in part by Big Dog Auto. Call the Big Dog today for all your auto repair needs, 412-999-0191. State inspection, brakes, oil change, much more. Call them today. Very, very affordable, and they will not take you to the cleaners like some of these other places and some of these franchises. You go in for an oil change, and right away they want to tell you there's $2,000 worth of repairs. No, that doesn't happen here with Big Dog Auto. Call them today. West Mifflin by the County Airport, Buttermilk Hollow Road. Call them today. Their number, 412-999-0191. Big Dog Auto. Commanders 14, Cardinals 7, second period. Patriots are down 13-0 to the 49ers in the second period. Browns up on the Raiders, the end of that first quarter, 10-0. And since he won today, they beat the Carolina Panthers 34-24. And if the Browns win, and if the Ravens win tonight, the Steelers here we go. The Ravens play the Bills tonight at 8:20. This is going to be a really good game here tonight. And then you have the Chiefs are down from the Chargers are up on the Chiefs now 10-0. They're upset about their loss last week. Falcons beat the Saints 26-24. I said this was going to be a dogfight. It was kind of a toss-up for me. Bears, they beat the Rams. Rams are not doing too good this year, 24-18.
Wow.
The Vikings are on a roll, man. In Green Bay, they beat the Packers 31-29 today. The Vikings 4-0. And then Broncos beat the Jets 10-9. And the Jets had an opportunity. The field goal kicker missed a kick in the final minutes of the game and blew it. So it was, unfortunately, it wasn't Chris blew it, but they blew it. And could have won 12-10, and they lost 10-9. All right, and then the Buccaneers 33, Eagles 16. Your buddy Baker Mayfield there, Smokin' Jim, came to play today. He really did well today in that game. And then the Bengals 34, Panthers 24. Jaguars lose their 0-4. Texans beat them in the last minute 24-20.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys won the other night. They beat the Giants 20-15. Guys, your thoughts on these scores? Smokin' Jim, start with you.
Wow, it's hard to keep up with. Like Steve said it best. It's hard to keep up because this is the new normal. I was surprised to see Jacksonville step up so well against Houston. It took Houston everything at home to beat them. So it's very interesting, man. I think Claudio Rosano calls it the MFL, mediocre football.
Speaking of that, don't forget next or this coming Saturday, actually, is our new radio or the return of the Sports Corner radio show, 12:50 a.m., 92.5 The Answer FM, October 5, 2 to 3 p.m. Saturday is the debut show. Ralph Williams here, Smokin', Jim Frazier, and Claudio Rosano, and Luther Dupree from Steel City Sports will be our guest, and we are going to talk about mediocrity in sports. That's what we're going to talk about, mediocrity in sports. It's all across the board. And also don't forget, next Tuesday, October 8th, the debut of we're back to 1 hour Wrestle Talk, 5 to 6 p.m. And our guest is independent wrestler David Lawless. David Lawless will join us. He wrestles all across Western Pennsylvania. And I'm also working on a couple more guests for our debut of the new Wrestle Talk show, where we go 5 to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. And then Tuesday, October 8th, don't forget this Tuesday, my birthday, no show of Sports Corner. So Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier will be back on the air we'll also be back on the air October the 8th. And we will be talking about the closing Pirates show. I have Noah House coming on from the Post-Gazette and the legend John Parado. What went wrong with the Pirates this year? Why did they lose? What happened this year? Should Derek Sheldon be fired? I think he should be. And I think Andy Haynes should be fired too, because this team's not hitting. And I think there's a lot of problems here with this Pirate team. Big disappointment this year. I was wrong. I thought they were going to go 500, and they did not. You were in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. That number is 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Give them a call today. They're our studio sponsor. And also don't forget about Robin Campbell Insurance, 412-366-3399. Farmers in Bristol West, Robin Campbell Insurance. Robin, I've been with Robin Campbell for over 15 years. Great insurance agent, will take very good care of you. Make sure he takes care of you. And here's the good news. You can call him on his cell phone, and he'll answer. You try to call your insurance agent with any other insurance company, and you're going to be put on hold, or you're going to go through a voicemail or some other stuff. Robin answers his phone, or if he doesn't, he will call you back immediately. He will call you back in due time, and he does not play around. Robin Campbell Insurance. I've known Robin Campbell for 15 years. 412-366-3399. Robin Campbell Insurance. Okay, guys. Final thoughts here before we wrap it up. We'll start with you, Steve. Final thoughts.
Well, I first of all want to tip my hat off to you for talking about the Pirates. That's extremely painful, and I don't know how you can do that, but you are a brave man. And I heard that the Atrocity Channel is taking on the Pirates next year. They will sign a 5-year contract. The Atrocity Channel is outrageous and great disasters of the 20th century. They're moving to the 21st century version of the Atrocity Channel, and the Pirate games will be shown for free. My final thoughts is this. Well, it can't get any worse, but I don't know if it's going to get any better, but it's great talk nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate you being here today. Smokin' Jim, final thoughts before we go.
Hey, great job, Steve. Always good working with you, buddy.
Thank you.
I just feel that, as quiet as it's kept, it came down to coaching, and I felt like the Pittsburgh Steelers got out-coached. I didn't think Coach Tomlin had his team ready. I don't think the game plan was ready. We didn't start throwing the ball downfield to George Pickens until the second half. That would have been open in the first half. The running game was null and void except for Patterson. So I thought that Indianapolis came in with a better game plan, better coaching. The coaches actually did work this week instead of working on their Tomlinisms, and it showed up game time, man. And Steelers got to bounce back against Dallas, and I just don't see them beating the Cowboys.
All right, don't forget this Saturday, Pitt versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. So that's going to be an interesting game. Mac Brown always comes out prepared regardless of who's playing quarterback. So we're going to find out what Pitt does this week with their no huddle go offense against the North Carolina Tar Heels in North Carolina.
Will they
Monday
bring
night.
their defense? Will they bring their
Yeah.
defense this week?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Hey, they brought it against Youngstown State. It was 73-17. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about UNC. Giving up
UNC.
70 to yes.
Yeah,
And Mac Brown's got problems there, though. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he does. He don't have the talent he had once before.
Yeah.
And some of these other teams, Virginia Tech, and who gave Miami a battle on Saturday, and Virginia are starting to work their way up the ladder again this year. So we'll see where they go. All right, Monday Night Football, real quick, everybody. 7:30 ESPN. Titans versus the Dolphins. That'll be an interesting game. Before we go, we're going to preview these two games. Seahawks versus the Lions at 8:15. Seahawks versus the Lions. So, guys, Monday Night Football. We'll start with you, Steve.
Well, like I said, my expectations have dropped. Kurt Warner said it best. It's hard to watch the league. It's hard, Ralph, even watching the Steelers. It's just tough to see the games. I mean, you got to see them if you're doing a post game. But with these games, it's how many penalties, how many bad calls are going to be made, and that should not be the mindset of a fan. Or if a touchdown is made, oh, is there a flag? Did something happen? Have you noticed when a touchdown's made, people look around? Like, is there a flag? Yeah. So the quality of the games are really the downer, and I like to see a good, clean game, and you're not going to see it. Again, it's the new normal. These games are getting tough to watch, man.
Yeah, they are. They can be. Smoking Jim, your thoughts on the two Monday night games?
Well, I tell you what, the Miami Dolphins can't execute that offense without a quarterback, and they don't have a quarterback right now without Tua. I'm very surprised they didn't make a pitch for Russell Wilson. Maybe they did, but we just didn't hear about it.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, all right, one more question, guys, before we go. I know I promised the final thoughts we were going to go. Does Russell Wilson play this year? Start with you, Smoking Jim.
Yes, the way Justin Fields is running around, he's probably in the way that the referees are allowing him to get clotheslined.
You agree with me on that, right? That the officials, he was getting clotheslined. And I said, oh, my gosh, are you kidding me? That was part of the bad calls.
There's no way he'll make it through all 17 games.
All right, I don't want my Chicago Bear friends to say I told you so, Ralph. Well, about Justin Fields, but you know what? So far, he's doing better than he did with the Bears. Steve.
Yeah, he'll start. He's going to start. It's not
he's our order.
It's not. It's so much an indictment that that Fields can't play. I just think that along the lines of what Jim says, I don't know the way the injuries are happening. I think it's your second quarterback is a very valuable player. And the reason I don't think if they had a chance to give up Wilson, unless it's a real sweetheart deal, you keep him because you don't know when you're going to need him. You saw today with Flacco, a very capable backup. And he did a very good job today.
I heard from some of my Steelers sources that the Steelers phone has been ringing. I know there are teams that need quarterbacks for Russell Wilson, and I don't know if the Steelers said no or maybe it was something they didn't like. I've already been told 5th and 6th round draft picks. That's what I've been told by all the teams that have called. So we'll see what happens here. I don't think the Steelers are going to get or trade him, because the reason I say that is because they need him. I mean, I think the Steelers are better at quarterback this year than they have. And don't spell out Kyle Allen either. Kyle Allen backed up Josh Allen, and he won games up there in Buffalo. So do not spell out Kyle Allen. I'm just concerned about Josh Allen getting hurt because you got Mitch Trubisky up there as his backup. So, we'll see where that goes with Mitch Trubisky. So, that's what I call him, Mitch Trubisky. So, all right, guys, it was great having you guys once again here. No post-game show next week because it's a night game. We do not do a post-game show. I'm not staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't think anyone else wants to either.
No.
to do a post game show. If the other guys that get paid aren't doing it, why should I do it? So, and don't forget this Saturday, October 5, the return of the Sports Corner radio show. Smokin' Jim and I are very excited. So is Claudia Rosano. I can't wait till Saturday. Our special guest, Luther Dupree from Steel City Sports World. Our main topic, mediocrity in sports, but we're going to talk about this loss, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the Pirates, and the Penguins are getting started. The Riverhounds, they blew they tied. They had another tie this week, or a draw, they call it, and so on and so forth. It's 1 hour of some great sports talk, and we don't talk about dirty diapers. And hey, Smokin' Jim, you're going to go have wings tonight or something. We don't talk about that stuff. We talk about sports. So, So what are you doing tonight with the wife? Oh, I think I'm going to sit on my couch at home, or, I'm staying home with the kids and all that. I got diapers to change, or I got a nanny coming over or something. The Pittsburgh.
You mean Fran Drescher?
Huh?
Mean Fran Drescher's coming over? The nanny?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. Hey, congratulations, you guys, on your show. You're at a landmark station, the old WTAE, if you don't mind me saying that. That's 1250. I lived in Wilkinsburg, grew up there, and back in the day. Congratulations to both of you. It's nice to see good people go forward.
Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, it's owned by Salem Broadcasting, and Salem Broadcasting fired me.
Well, what a small world.
Yeah, they fired me. And what happened was, they bought out Gateway Broadcasting, who owned WKPA-AM, because I was working at WPLW, and then I was working at WKPA as well. And KPA gave me a steady slot, noon to 6. My first day on the job, I walk to I go to the station. I get there. I walk up to the entrance to get in. It was up on the second floor. Then I could walk. It was up on the second floor. I had to go up 2 flights of steps to get to it. And then there's a security guard standing there with a clipboard. And he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Well, what's the purpose of this?" And he goes, and he starts screaming at me, "What's your name?" And I said, "Okay, fine, I'll give you my name." And he says, "Go upstairs, clear out your locker. You've been fired, or let go, or whatever, or terminated, or whatever." And then I had found out that Salem had bought out Gateway Broadcasting, and they fired everybody and went syndicated for about 2 months. And then they decided to sell KPA to Lauren Mann, who has his own station still there, still WKPA, still 1150 AM. I don't know who's running it now for him, but I do know it's his family or someone he still has some say in it or some ownership with it or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, Lauren Mann bought it, and it turned it into a religious station, and he's had it ever since. And they went with 104.7. They sold that, and now Salem owns this station that we're on, and they also own WPIT, and they own 730 AM as well, and they own 101.5 Word FM. They own that. So that's the story on Salem Broadcasting. So, but I got fired from them. So, but now I'm back.
Well, you're back up, man. Great job, though. You guys are going forward. That's a great job.
Oh yeah, we're going for it. I told everybody out there. Nobody listened. Nobody believed me when I said we're coming back. We're going to be back on the radio. Just give me some time. Patience is a virtue. You catch more flies with honey. And guess what? We ended up coming back, and we are back and better than ever on a better station with a better signal. And I don't need to be disrespected. I don't need to be told after I put this station on a national map that we were on before, and I'm told that they don't care. So, I don't need that. And so this station's a lot better, to work with. They're way more professional. Smokin' Jim, Claudio, and I had a meet and greet about 2 weeks ago, and they're very nice people to work with, and a whole different management ball game than before. So, and I don't appreciate being told that, you're not coming back. Oh, you'll never make it again. Oh, this, that, or whatever. That came from the station I was on before, who obviously didn't appreciate it. So, but anyway. All right, guys, thanks for being part of the show. And for Smokin' Jim Frazier and Steve Spates, my name's Ralph Williams. It's been a pleasure for everyone being here today, viewing the show. With no post game next week because it's a night game, but we'll be back in a few weeks. Also, this coming Saturday. We will have a Pitt post-game show. Join me, Steve Spates, and perhaps Smokin' Jim Frazier. And we're going to be on for a Pitt post-game show this Saturday, the October 5, for the Pitt North Carolina game this week. But again, no Steeler post-game. And the return of Sports Capsules coming up this week as well. I'll be on for a few minutes talking scores and give some opinions about games, things going on in Pittsburgh sports and whatnot. So everyone have a great one. Thank you for watching again. Thank you, Steve, for being part of the program. Smokin' Jim Frazier. Have you guys a great night. Thank you. All right. So I'm Ralph Williams, and I approve this message. And the reason I approve this message is because I want to talk to you right now before we go about the Candlewood Suites Hotel in Erie. Candlewood Suites Hotel in Erie. Do not, and I repeat, do not. And a guy from my church actually went up there for a ship convention and slept in his van because all that was left was the Candlewood Suites Hotel in Erie. Do not, I repeat, do not. They're at the Mill Creek Mall. Stay at this hotel. This hotel, we stayed there, my wife, my mom, and I, and my dog for our vacation. It got ruined because the Candlewood Suites, the general manager there, her name is Jen, decided that she didn't like the way we complained about getting our sheets changed and decided to throw us out. Okay? So, please, I got disrespected as a handicapped person, and so did my mom, who also is handicapped, and my wife, who also is handicapped. This, to me, is very unacceptable. And it should be unacceptable to you as someone who would go there and complain. And then not only did we get kicked out, but other people who complained got kicked out. So do not go to the Candlewood Suites Hotel, Mill Creek, the Mill Creek Mall, and do not check in there. If you have to, sleep in your car. A guy from my church slept in his van. He wasn't going to put up with it because I told him, don't stay there. He slept in his van, and you can do it too. Do not go to the Candlewood Suites Hotel in principle. I know I'm handicapped, and I know that there's a soft spot for people like me, and I appreciate all the heartwarming emails that I've gotten from everybody about this. This is a disgrace. There's a Trump rally going on up there. I told everybody that was going up for the Trump rally, do not stay there. I have friends in the wrestling business that put on events up there. I told them about it. So I'm spreading the word. It's out there. And the Candlewood Suites, when I'm finished with them, will be out of business. All right. Do not mess with people, especially handicapped people. I'm getting Americans for Disabilities. I'm possibly pursuing legal action. This is a disgrace. You don't treat handicapped people like this. Especially, I'm not going to go into it. I have already talked about it on the way we see it with me and Bill on Monday night, 7 p.m. live here with me and Bill Canada. Don't forget to join us this Monday, 7 o'clock on our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. But also don't forget later on tonight at 7 o'clock is Bible Capsule with me, Ralph Williams. We talk about peace. Peace. I have some scripture for you on that. So tune in. We talk about peace. Everybody loved my, when we talked about fear. Well, we're going to talk about peace this Sunday for the Bible Capsule show. Don't forget, 7 o'clock p.m. tonight, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch platforms. I'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock for Steve Spade, Smokin' Jim Frazier. And this show's been brought to you by RW Media Productions. Have yourself a great night, and thank you once again for watching.